This is the Eastern Shore High School Football Preview Show.
Week 9 of the high school football season here on UTV 44. Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers game of the week tonight at Pritchard Stadium. St. Paul's and Viger matching up, region game here in 5A. And you take a look at what's at stake here at the line, Danny. We know Jackson's already won the region as they beat St. Paul's earlier in the year. They beat Viger as well. But now you got a home field on the line because whoever wins this game tonight is going to finish in second place.
Yeah, if you want to know how important home field is, that may be how Jackson got what they got, because they had both of these teams playing up there in
Little
Clark
LSU.
County.
Little LSU.
That's what they call it, little LSU up there. So we got to get up there someday.
Yeah,
right?
no doubt.
So home field for Viger tonight, which could work out well for them. You remember a year ago?
Oh.
What a great game.
14-13.
Yeah, over at St. Paul's. And, of course, St. Paul's a year ago went on to win a state championship. So Viger brings back a lot of good football players. They're at home tonight. It's always a big game when St. Paul's comes visiting, so the fans will be ready, and you know the Wolves will be ready.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing this one. Last week we had a good one, rivalry game, big rivalry game, oldest rivalry in the state, Murphy and McGill. You know, we've had some funky games this year. We've had some of the greatest games we've ever had in the history of doing this game. Then we are doing these games. Then we've had some blowouts that we're scratching our head like, we didn't see that one coming. We thought we were trending that way last week in the first quarter. Then it turned out to be a heck of a game.
We got both.
Yeah, you're right.
We got McGill scored 28 points in about a 3-minute span.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. In any conceivable way you can score a touchdown. Murphy hung in there, talented team, and they were able to come back and squeeze it to a 7-point game by the end. And speaking of Murphy and how good they are in 7A, and how about Viger's already played Murphy this year?
Yeah, I mean, that's, we'll talk more about that with Derek Scott. I mean, the two losses that Viger has, who they have lost to this year, and you always see the teams that have that desire to be great in the postseason trying to get tough competition on their schedule in the non-region weeks.
Well, we were kidding with Coach Scott. I said, you didn't have to play these people. What were you doing? Of course, he came in and took the job after Ashley Johnson left. But the fact is that Viger's had a tough schedule. And it's week 9, so everybody's a little banged up at least. But it's a talented team. And speaking of talent, how about St. Paul's?
Oh, we look forward to seeing. We saw them
I
earlier.
would pay to watch them practice.
Yeah, and Coach Mask would take your money. I mean, he would take your money right down there in front. Hey, we are here. Viger knows the drill. I mean, they have packed the house here at Eastern Shore Toyota, and we're here to give away some money to a great cause again this season.
You know, a lot of money. Number one in showing spirit at this very show walks away with $12,000. That is a lot of money. That's a big old check, right? Second place, $4,000. And then third and fourth, split $4,000, $2,000 each. So it behooves you when you get the call that your team is going to be on the UTV 44 game of the week to get over here to Eastern Shore Toyota. We pre-tape this on a Wednesday night, show your spirit, and it could mean a lot of cash for your program.
Yeah, and you add all that up. I mean, Dan and I, math, probably not our strong point, but that equals $20,000. And just, I mean, Casey Sowell here, the general manager, Sean Esfahani, I mean, they really have always been all about community. A lot of businesses say that. They want to be part of the community. Well, you write checks like they do, and that's just a small part of what they do for the arts at the schools and other things. I mean, they really are all about being a part of the community.
No, they're committed. We're committed to spread the word for them, and we love being here on Wednesday nights. I know it's Friday to you right now, so again, don't rush away from your TV. We've got a good show and a great game coming up.
Yeah, we got kickoff coming up in just about 30 minutes. We're back at Pritchard Stadium tonight. Matchup between St. Paul's and Viger. We'll hear from head coach Steve Mask and the St. Paul Saints coming up right after this as we get ready for kickoff tonight here on UTV 44. Here, how about the Viger band? I mean, always one of our favorites during the season. Back here at Eastern Shore Toyota, Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Colton Watkins Center for the Saints, and the head coach Steve Mask of the St. Paul Saints as we get ready for our Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers game of the week tonight. St. Paul's on the road region matchup going up against the Viger Wolves. Coach, let's talk about where you're at. You had the one disappointing loss to Jackson, but and I know that was probably a game that you're like, just whatever could have gone wrong seem to have gone wrong in that one. But your team is bounced back to get back in a great spot here coming into week 9.
Well, Jim, Dan, I think you both are spot on. We did not play our best, but I think Jackson had a lot to do with that too. I just don't discount anything that they did, but you know, y'all get tired of hearing coaches say this all the time, but it's a fact. If you turn the ball over 6 times, you're not going to win.
Yeah, you got no chance.
You know, not against a good team. And we have a little chart that we go by the kids, and we go through like the 5 keys to victory. I don't want to bore you with them, but we were 0-5. And if you're 0-5 in those 5 keys, you have a 0 chance. You're a math guy, you can do it, you know, 1 out of 5, 20, and so on. But we didn't play well, but to our kids' credit, we learned a lot from that. We came back, we had a 4-week stretch where we had a chance to improve in some areas. We had a week off that we were able to get some people healed. And so, you know, going forward, I will never say that losing a game is good for you, but I think it woke us up a little bit.
You know, one thing, and how about you look at the kids that played a lot last year's juniors, undefeated team, state champions, first time they had to face some adversity. I mean,
right.
and really shows the character that you have when you come back from that.
Well, when we came back from the loss, we talked about it in the locker room. It was the first time in nearly a year and a half that we had to practice after a loss.
Right.
You know, because we lost
Different
we lost the quarterfinals the year before to Saraland, and we came back and ran the table. Then about a half a year we practiced again. So, you know, my big concern was how we're going to react to that, and I'm proud of them. They came back with a little bit different mindset and realized that they weren't invincible. That we were not the media darlings, and we were not all this, and they get mad at me saying in a bag of chips. That we had some other problems. So we worked on that, and we tried to get better.
If you got better, what did you get better at during those 3 or 4 weeks, Steve?
Unity.
Okay.
Unity. I mean, I think that complacency, you know, things that you sort of take for granted, and even as a coaching staff, I think we got better because you know, you assume a lot of things. Well, we're going to, you know, I hate that. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And we'd do something maybe the week before we played Jackson. I say, we're going to be fine. Well, we wasn't fine. You know, and so all of a sudden, you hate to say the loss hits you right between the eyes, but it does. So sometimes you get a false sense of security of where you are, and maybe you think, well, we're going to be fine. When you're not, you get exposed a little bit.
Colton Watkins, guy like this, you got to lean on him during during that time, and then moving forward here in the playoffs.
He really grew up a lot, and you know, Colton's been a two-year starter for us at center, and I've seen him the last 4 weeks take on more of a role of being that guy up front along with Darius Whitfield. But Colton's our center. He makes all of our line calls for us, and then I've really seen the last 2 weeks him just say, you know what, enough's enough. We're going to do this thing the right way, and he's done that. And believe it or not, there's probably a quarterback trapped in that body somewhere. He's that good of an athlete, but we're awful proud to have him with us.
Yeah, speaking of athletes, when you watch the Viger tape, you know what you're up against. They've got plenty on that side to try to chase and block.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Talk about what you see when you see Viger.
I just see a lot of athletes, a lot of good players on their team, and strong team, honestly. They got a great defense. You know, last year they've done some different things this year than they did last year, and we just gotta adjust to that.
Okay.
Did you? So what was it like knowing that y'all had to bounce back? You know, because it's just, you know, some teams lose a game and I don't want to say they're used to it, but they're not used to being a part of the great run you were on. And was it just a bit of a wake-up call to make sure everybody was back refocused again?
Yeah, I mean, some of the younger guys had never even, you know, seen a loss yet, and we just had to make sure everybody's on the same page. It's like, we're still St. Paul's, we're still the same team, we're all one team, and we just had to get everybody back together.
You always, like Dan was just saying, you always know when you see Viger, you're going to have great talent out on the field. Bit of a different look, though. Derek Scott coming in this year. Things look a little different over at Viger, doing some different things there.
Well, I told Derek a while ago, and not because we're playing this week, we've seen them a lot during the year because it seems we follow them a little bit. So we've seen them, and I've seen his team really improve. And I mean this in a very complimentary way. You can see the 7A influence with Derek being at Foley and Eric being at Saraland. And that's no disrespect to anybody. Please don't take it that way. Sure. But they're a little bit more complicated. They're a little bit more spaced out in things that you haven't seen in the past. And he has done a terrific job with this team. And you know, they're Viger. They got players a lot of places, but you can see that they are really doing things really, really good.
Yeah, Derek really went to school when he was down at Foley. You could tell he was a coordinator, but he was paying close attention to how everything was done. Whatever he can implement there, he's going to.
Well, I'm glad that we have the Derek Scotts come along and coaching, because he's a credit to our coaching profession. And you know, he's not a young guy, but he's not an old guy like me. And you can see that we're leaving you know, I hope I can go several more years, but I think the profession's in good hands with the Derek Scotts of the world that's coming in, and his kids play hard. They play with a lot of class and integrity, and you can see his influence, his personality all over this team.
Hey, talk about how big the home field advantage that's on the line in this game is.
Well, you know, Jim, I don't make a whole lot out of that. And I told our kids at practice today that, you know, we're both going to play again. You know, this is not a do-or-die situation, and we're both going to travel eventually. You know, I hope we both can make a long run at it. But, you know, yeah, we'd like to play at home. Obviously, we would. But if we played at home the first week, we're going to travel the second week. And if we travel the first week, we're going to play home the second week. So that's more of an advantage, I think, as you get further on down the road. You know, if this was a situation where we're sitting here wringing our hands and saying, oh, Lord, we got to win to get in, make no mistake about it. It's important to win this football game.
Sure. And
we want to play a playoff game at home first. But the season is not going to end Friday night for either one of these teams. And don't be surprised if both teams don't make a long run in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'd like to see that happen for sure. All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Be safe out there. Get those offensive line calls. Keep them going the way you've been doing all year long. When we come back, we'll hear Viger's side of things. We get ready for our Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers game of the week tonight. The St. Paul Saints taking on the Viger Wolves. We'll hear more about the Viger side of things coming up right after this. Like Jimmy Fallon has the Roots. It's like we have our own great house band here.
I'll tell you what, they start emphatically, they end emphatically. That's the Viger band.
Oh, we are so excited. Just 2 weeks left in the regular season, and week 9 tonight we've got Viger and St. Paul's, our game here on UTV 44. Brandon Rogers, playmaker for the Viger Wolves. We'll see him tonight a lot of places offensively. Derek Scott, first-year coach for the Wolves. And, Coach, you came here and you said, hey, we got to get you a new helmet because you got there and kind of things your first year at Viger. You've implemented some changes across the board here at Viger.
Yeah, just a few. We changed the logo a little bit, put a new logo. So we're excited about that. And we got to get you guys up to date on that.
kind of a change of overall attitude, new philosophy coming in, with reflecting the logo change?
Yeah, it's a new philosophy, but it's still the same tradition.
Yeah.
And that's never going to change. That's Viger football. And that's being physical, running the ball downhill, and getting the ball to playmakers when it's that opportunity to. So we're going to stay true to tradition.
Yeah, there's not too much you want to change about Viger football, right?
No, we just want to implement our philosophy on doing things a little bit. But we want that same type of success they've had in the past.
Years ago, we met you early 2000s, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, you were on the sidelines, you and your brother both, with Viger.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So it's been quite a journey since then.
It has. Like I said, we go back a ways here. On those sidelines back in the early 2000s to going to Foley as a defensive coordinator and having a blessed opportunity to come back to Viger as head coach. So I'm truly blessed and thankful.
You know, I think whenever whether you're starting a new business, you're taking a new job, you get there and you think, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. And then you get in there and it's like day 3 and you're like, but I mean, like, as a first-year coach, do you find yourself in that situation?
My God, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And no amount of preparation can get you ready for that first job, especially as a head coach of a 5A high school that has as much tradition as Viger has had. But I like to think we're doing a good job with it. But there are some days where you just shake your head like, man, I wasn't ready for this one.
Yeah, now, what helps? What does help is when you have playmakers like this guy here. When you come on the job, talk about what Brandon means to the team and what he's done so far this year.
Brandon is one of many guys on our team that really has bought into what we're doing. And when they get the ball in their hand, they're electric with it. And that's on our only purpose and our only job is to get the ball in the right guy's hands at the right time. So,
you know, I made the point that I think at Viger, they don't just, if you're wearing number 1 at Viger, you're probably like really good. Anyway, congratulations on the season so far. And tell us about what you think about this game coming up with St. Paul's.
I mean, it's another game to our team. And he always told us, keep our heads up. And we just got to do what we do, play every game like a state championship game.
When Coach Scott came in, a different feel, maybe not right or wrong, but just a different feel to the team this year than was there last year?
Yes, sir. It was sort of like we knew what we had coming at us because we heard about what he did before and what type of coach he was. So we just had our faith up high. We know we was going to do something with it.
Terry Curtis, who's been a great friend of ours as long as we've been doing this, talked a lot about, and really just has told us over the years that a lot of young coaches will come to him and they're ready to take a job, and he's a lot of times he's like, just wait, the right one will come along when you're ready, because sometimes you take a job, maybe you're just too young or it's not a great situation, but I mean you have found yourself in a great spot as to what you can do, the staff you're putting together, the kids you have there at Viger.
True, very, very true. The best job sometimes is the one that you wait on and that kind of comes to and finds you, not the one you go and seek out and go and look for. And that's kind of what this deal was. Of course, I always knew Viger was a place that I was interested in going back to, but some things for whatever reason never worked out before now. And so the opportunity presented itself, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity. And then, like I said, things have to line up. You know what I mean? And it's all about timing.
We were getting ready for our first game of the year. Coach Mask and his St. Paul's team taking on Bryant. Yep. And I snuck into a practice there. You really don't have to sneak. There's not barbed wire or anything.
And you don't have to pay to get in.
I know, but they are that good. They are that clean and talented, and it's almost like you would pay $5 to watch them practice.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's a testament to Coach Mask and what he's done over the years there and the type of success they've had. And it takes dedication. It takes talent, but it takes dedication and commitment to doing things the right way. And those little things that you do on a daily basis are the things that make you successful. So.
Yeah, and of course, defending 5A state champs have just got the one blemish on the record. You look at them and see what all they do well on film, I'm sure.
No doubt. They run the ball on offense well, and on defense they stop the run. So those are characteristics of a really good team.
Yeah, also sets up for a great TV matchup.
It really does, because Viger is such all about the line of scrimmage now with Coach Scott, and so it's kind of like, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and I spoke to Coach Mask earlier, and we kind of agreed we're eerily similar.
How about that?
So we want to establish the run as well as they, and we want to stop the run on defense. So that's the case.
Is it a great matchup late in the season, because it's whether the atmosphere will be great, but it's very much like you'll see in the playoffs. I mean, these are the type of teams you're going to see from now on in the playoffs.
And yes, and that's what we tell our kids, and that's one thing we preach. There are certain games on that schedule that you have to treat like a playoff game, and this is definitely one of them. So when we go on those, and you want to be able to, we talked about we went on the road, you got to go on the road and be the good team. Well, in the playoffs, you're going to have to come home and be the good team as well. So we want to try to go out there and just do the things that we think that are going to make us successful, and that's protecting the ball on offense, being able to run it, and getting turnovers on defense.
We can't wait. We're about 10 minutes from kickoff. Stay here, Coach. We're going to have you in the last segment with Coach Coach Mask. Brandon, good to see you. Be good out there tonight. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. Kickoff here on the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week on UTV 44. Viger Wolves head coach Derek Scott going up against the St. Paul Saints head coach Steve Mask. We should have mentioned in the last segment, Brandon Rogers going to Southern Miss. Yeah, Southern Miss guy. You're a Southern Miss guy.
Oh, yeah.
Jared Kihas, who does everything for UTV 44 high school football. He's a Southern Miss. Maybe a little obnoxious Southern Miss guy, but he's a Southern Miss guy. So
no way.
So we should have mentioned
he's the one.
Yeah, we should have mentioned that too when Brandon was sitting here next to us as we get ready for our matchup here tonight. I was just we're sitting with Derek, and I didn't have a chance to talk to you about it, but really a great primer for the playoffs having this matchup this late in the season.
Absolutely. You look at your schedule every year, and I think I heard Derek say something about it. There's 10 games on your schedule. There's 5 of them. You think, well, if we just do okay, we're going to be okay. Then there's 3 that you think we got to be pretty good to win. Then there's 2. you better bring it. Play. Yeah. And this was 2.
Yeah.
So you better show up.
So you talked about the tradition that you don't want to change. You want to embrace what is there. The fan base, the atmosphere on a Friday night, the big community that Viger's kind of spread out there. Talk about just, you experienced before, but talk about what you're seeing this year as the head coach.
Yeah, and that tradition and that fan base is strong, and they're committed to Viger football. and we're excited to hopefully have it going back in that direction. So, and we're excited about the future. But we, you know, that tradition is there and is ever present always. So.
All right, so Derek hasn't had to sit through this yet. This is his first time. These
Derek, run.
these dumb questions we
Run, Derek, run.
dumb questions we wrap up the show with each
Dumb
and
questions for really dumb guys.
Oh, come on now, Coach Mask. That's not it. All right, if you were attending a Halloween party, what costume would you wear? What would you wear?
I'm with Batman.
Going as Batman. Wow. Batman. The slim down, the svelte Batman.
Incognito.
All right, so you're going to a Halloween party. What are you dressing up as, Coach?
Superman.
Got a battle.
Yeah, we sure.
Okay.
You
He gonna win.
I'm Bob Marley.
Well, you got kind of the
Both be
dreadlocks.
trying to arrest me.
All right, so on your computer, on your desk, in your office, what is the background picture on your screensaver?
Mobile County Public Schools.
Okay, you can't change it. They don't let you change it, right? It's got to be there. All right,
I can change it, but I just have it.
Truthfully, it's a collage of a thing we had done last year for the state championship. So
All right.
a little collage type deal.
Mine is Ladd Stadium for a Jags game. with
Cool.
a Big crowd of Ladd.
Yeah, cool. All right, poolside or the beach?
Who?
Poolside or the beach?
Beach.
Beach.
Beach. Got
Under
that.
an umbrella.
Yeah, well, after about 4 minutes, we need to get you, get that. All right, I'm gonna start this one with you. If you had to sleep late, you get up way early. Could
Yeah.
you sleep late? Can you sleep late on a day
Yes.
off? You can? Can you
Yes.
sleep late?
I can.
Can you sleep late?
Not as much as I used to.
Man, I wish I could. I can't do it as well.
I used to be a pro at it.
Yeah, I wish I could.
I'm up by 9:30 though.
All right, here we go. Kickoff comes up just about 6 minutes. Viger and St. Paul's tonight. Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week right here on UTV 44.